Hello, everybody. Thanks for this great opportunity to share some insights or security vision in Europe on 5G and also what will be beyond 5G. My name is Emmanuel DOTARO, and I'm a member of the governing board of the 5G IA Association, among other things. Let me talk and start with the game, which is for us changing. 10 years ago, when we started to work on 5G, security topics were not that popular. But today, we have quite a kind of recognition that this is a must, important, and that we'll have to tackle this question seriously. The first aspect and the first angle are the threats. And if you look at the security incident reporting that is progressing, and in Europe it's mandatory since 2009, there is a kind of evolution of this security incidents. So the threat is also changing. We are more and more attacks, but also more and more sophisticated attacks. So it goes to the second point, that digital infrastructure is now something which is strategic, and you have attacks which are also coming from states, from very sophisticated and powerful teams in some states. So that's something that has to be taken into account. And maybe the last point, which is not a threat by itself, but it's a consequence, we have to take into account the societal acceptance for technologies. If not, the risk is that there will be rejection or slowdown of the progress for what we expect from 5G and 6G tomorrow. So the game is changing, and why is this changing? Because we are changing a lot the architecture. So we are talking about cellular networks, cell-less edge, IoT, 3D networks with NTN, public or private, mesh, a lot of various diversity of architecture which has to be taken into account with each time some complexity and specifics into this. We have to apply those architecture in some vertical specific architectures, mobility or not mobility. What is the regulation which is driving the application in this vertical? So this coming also with new aspect in terms of architecture, such as digital ledger technologies, blockchains, also introduction of quantum-based architecture with a specific with the quantum, cyber physical. This is not only a small segment in the networks, so this is changing the game. Service orientation is also very key, because people more and more are buying services and not buying ownership of systems. So we have to take this into account also from the security angle, and to qualify those services from the security point of view. What is very trendy, digital twins, massive remote management, robotics, and other topics like that are all enabled by our digital infrastructure. So if not taking this into consideration end-to-end from the security point of view, you don't have any security. So this is part of the game. Change of the usages. And when we say change of the usages, is to encompass not only the pure player that we knew before in the telco industry, but ICT convergence with people and companies coming from IT, pure IT, even just software and applications, and plus the operational technologies, some of them being fully specific from vertical sectors, and nowadays introduction of massive usage of AI in various parts of the systems and services. So all of that is changing the game, is changing the stakeholders that are involved in this game, so we have to take this also into account from the security point of view. The technologies themselves, each time you introduce a new technology, you need to raise a question about security, for the good or for the bad, but you need to understand if there is some new surface attack or new facilities to deploy security or whatever. This is clearly the case with the software predominance in 5G and tomorrow 6G. So as a consequence of all of that, we have a new attack surface. We have unprecedented level of attacks and number of attacks. We have unprecedented complexity of the systems and services that we want to secure end-to-end. We have a lot of fragmentation of actors, provisioning, and so on, during the running time, but also during the supply chain of those networks and services. So this is something which is really difficult to tackle from a security point of view. Another axis which is really important, which leads to change of paradigm in security, is that you cannot do static and perimetric security anymore. You have to take into account the new dynamics of the system and services. So this is changing the game. Unprecedented expectation. From one level of security or kind of best effort security, you have to adapt up to mission critical level of security, but not for all of requirements. And you have also to respect privacy at the same time and human-centric values for thanks to security or taking into account this into the security itself. Let me now give some insights about security considerations in our programs in Europe. So we have a kind of momentum, building momentum in 5G PPP with more and more projects dedicated to security, or either projects tackling security issues across the specific studies and areas. This is true from the physical layer up to the service layer, crossing software issues with virtualizations, orchestration, and so on. This is even more the case, and we come back later on the new topics and directions for the smart networks and services, phase 1, and phase 2, which will come next year. Just to give you some ideas about the momentum, we are not just considering security as hardening or robustification of hardware or software component. Security is meaningful end-to-end or nothing. So we have to tackle that, and this is clearly the way we want to tackle the security issues. We have to recognize that this is over complex, much more than before, with considerations for various stakeholders involved, various layers, standards, regulations, technologies, and so on. So this is something which is really complex, where a lot of unsolved issues from a technical point of view. Then we have to consider all the aspects of security. Confidentiality and privacy are one of them, but not only. Integrity is key for AI applications. It's key for AI applications for 6G, where we will fuel the 6G system and services behavior from AI, from statistical AI, but it's also true for 6G for AI, where you want to align the planet between computing, storage, data, security, AI itself, in order to have something which is an overall application thanks to 6G. Availability is key for numerous verticals that we want also to address with 5G and 6G. So it was not the case all the time, but some applications are requiring 6.9 or even 7.9 to be compliant with the regulation, for instance. So we need to tackle this also availability issues in security. Then from the NIST framework point of view, this is security for all phases. Protections to prevent the security issues, but also attack detections, non-attacks, unknown attacks with anomaly detection, smart response in case of attacks, recovery phase, and so on. So all those phases are part of the game for our security actions. Then we have also to recognize that there is quite a big momentum around that we have a transition from cloud native towards AI native generation, and security should be part of the game. Very quickly, to end this presentation, some of the directions that we are now taking for the next phase of our programs. So we have clearly to tackle classical security issues, and for instance, in the hardware side, you have reflected intelligent surfaces into the chain, so you have to take into account this new attack surface coming from the hardware. Software issues for sure, for virtualization and so on, but also things are going more on data-centric, both to protect the user data, but also to protect the data, the protocol exchange in the system and the services. We want to have, from the architectural point of view, holistic approaches, taking everything into account, but also maybe being tolerant of black boxes where you don't know exactly what is happening, but to have mitigation of those weaknesses in some part of the network. Operational security is key, and it will be smart, it will be AI-based, so software-defined security, how to deploy your virtualized security function and so on in a smart way. All of that has to come with some new means to evaluate the security condition, the security level, and this paradigm of quality of security can be inherent to such system and services, which allow to the next point, which is the security, differential security. Not everybody needs high-grade security, but you need to provide the right level of security as per the diversity and the various needs from the customers and the user at the end. Security as a service is something which is also part of the game, because you need to take into account the capabilities of the security industry to provide best of breed in terms of security services. And it has to be done in relationship with all the new areas that are coming in the digital world. I mean, AI, hardware, cloud, HPC, sustainability are all questions that are also intersecting with the security concerns. So that's where we're going now, and that's where we are pushing some ideas and research for the next phase towards 6G and XG in general. Thanks for your attention.